This week's episode of The Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Squarespace.
GoDaddy.
And Netflix. Go to www.netflix.com/TRS to get a free trial membership.
All right, everybody, coming up on this episode of The Totally Rad Show, we are talking about the new Christopher Nolan movie, Inception, as well as the trailer for The Social Network, plus finally getting our hands on DeathSpank, as well as some comedy conversation.
Three rad dudes wanted a new world view, so they bid adieu, and to China they flew. There they got a tattoo while riding in a canoe and learning kung fu. They were not through, there was still much to do. They had to review games and movies too, for you lucky few. So have some fondue, but take your time to chew. Don't choke prior to The Totally Rad Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Totally Rad Show, episode number 174. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Jeff Canada.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
Ooh, Totally Rad Show's weekly dose of all things rad. We meter the meter of our voice to accentuate points that don't need accentuation.
I put the right emphasis on the wrong syllables.
For example, this background was sent in by Danny Head.
I love it. DP Head, long time no see.
Yes, he's
Welcome home.
oftentimes contributor to our backgroundage.
Long-time contributor.
This is an awesome Inception background. Of course, we're talking Inception today,
Yep.
and very, very cool. Our logo stuck in the Inception.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed the lyrics to our intro,
Correct me
they were
if I'm
written by Jeremy Malone, who I met
Let it
at
happen.
one of
Let it
our
happen.
meetups. Very cool dude. Thank you for sending us intro lyrics.
So we're excited. Lot of hype and speculation from Mr. Danny TRS here about Inception. I'm very interested to see
Before we even toss the movies, we should mention again, Comic-Con is next week.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Holy moly.
Actually, when they
First
see
of all,
this, it will be this week.
It'll be this
Yeah.
week.
Crazy town.
So if you're going, a couple things.
You're a-going.
You definitely don't want to miss our panel. We mentioned at the bottom of last show.
Correct.
The creators of The Lost Room are going to be there. Crazy announcements happening,
as well as some
exclusive
other
to our
special
show.
guests coming up for some announcements.
Other special guests. And what else? We're doing some cool things. People in line are going to get some special things.
Yes.
We got a lot of really good swag.
You probably
treats.
want to get there early. We're going to be
Yes.
giving out some cool stuff in line. We always give out something to the fans, but this year we're taking it up a notch.
Yes.
Correct.
I
But
would say
from friends of ours that are
Yes.
helping out with the taking up a notch, but we don't know how much of this stuff is going to go around, so we're going to sprinkle it as much as we can, but be there early.
Get there
early and
early.
often.
If I didn't host this show and I was going to a panel, I would be thrilled to be getting what they are getting at our panel, let alone, seeing footage from.
Dan's going to make it rain.
Yeah.
Yes,
To
he
the
is.
people in line.
Game break.
This is a person when you're going to get married, and
priest.
this is a person that puts everything together for you.
Wedding
Wedding
planner. I got it first.
Game break.
This week in movies, we're talking about Inception, which comes from the mind of the writer and director of this movie, Christopher Nolan. Just because he
Comes
didn't,
from the mind of the person who wrote and directed this.
because he didn't write Memento, right? The crazy turning
write
narrative on his head. It's a movie that moves backwards, and then of course, The Dark Knight, one of the greatest superhero films of all time, and now Inception, which takes place under the fiction that we can share dreams.
Yeah, Dan, go ahead and explain what this movie is
I know.
about.
This is going to be the most difficult task
Yeah,
of
right.
all time. But let me give it a shot. People share dreams, and Leonardo DiCaprio plays a master thief with his team of thieves that can go inside someone's dream and steal their secrets.
Hilarity ensues.
The plot gets much more deeper than that and more complex.
3 levels deeper.
Yeah. I won't spoil that for you, nor could I if I wanted
Yeah,
to.
right, exactly. That's what I was going to say. How do you pretend to spoil that?
Alex.
Yes.
What did you think of Inception?
I think overall I liked Inception. It was very good. It was a good movie. It's kind of hard because I think there was a lot of build up to this movie. It's going to be The Matrix, and movies are going to be different after this movie, and none of that came across to me. It was a very good movie. But nothing that happened in the movie was stuff that, like, I remember seeing The Matrix. I was actually talking to Mike about this, and I was like, I remember seeing The Matrix and going, how in the hell? Like, my brain didn't even think that could have been done or even ever imagine it. Whereas in this, there's a lot of stuff that is clearly like and one. It's like, instead of having the set on a gimbal, it's on a 360 gimbal. It's like, great, that's and one. But none of that to me was like not doable if somebody said, how would you get this thing to do this? I'd go, I don't know, this, maybe a gimbal, whatever. I mean, it's expensive and crazy. I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Okay. So, and then I kind of felt like the story was a little done. I mean, I remember seeing the Dream Invasion movies in the 80s. Dreamscape was all about that, hiring people to come and enter your dreams. In that case, that story was because you were haunted by these nightmares, and they would come in and fight your nightmares, and then you would be able to sleep well. But it was the same sort of thing. High-powered people having to be protected by people who they hire that are consultants getting pulled into their dreams. So it kind of felt like it was good, but
I'm shocked to hear that you think that this movie has been done. But as you know, Dreamscape is on my list of shame. So
you should see Dreamscape. It's like everything is sitting in the rooms and like go to bed, and somebody goes into a dream that the girl comes in and gets into a dream that the guy's having, and she shouldn't have.
I remember the cover, Dennis Quaid holding a torch or something.
Dude, with the Cobra guy.
Yeah.
Worst Cobra guy ever. Does not hold up that movie.
I really disagree with Alex. I love this movie, and I think it's an astounding work of imagination. I was completely blown away. The mind that this comes from, it's incredible. It is as if Charlie Kaufman wrote Ocean's 11. It's like, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but with this awesome heist story happening too. But the pure density of science fiction ideas that are communicated in this movie, and communicated effectively and clearly. The movie's not perfect. I thought the beginning was a little clumsy. I thought he's a little bit too ready to throw you into the deep end and at the beginning, and unnecessarily obtuse just for the first 10 minutes, perhaps. But when you first start getting into Leonardo DiCaprio explaining the rules, and we talk about that a lot with science fiction. The rules are so clearly established, and you keep finding out new things as you go deeper and deeper on what this means and what the ramifications of that are and how people can manipulate that. All of that is so fascinating and thrilling, and it is very rare to have a true science fiction movie that is this dense and yet still mainstream and clear and coherent. But the thing that really surprised me, because I kind of anticipated that based on the pedigree of Christopher Nolan, the thing that really surprised me was the emotional touch, that I was really drawn into the character stuff with Leonardo DiCaprio and I can't remember the name of the actress.
Marianne Cotillard?
Yeah. That stuff was very evocative for me and really powerful.
I feel like the thing with the rule, because there was one rule, real quick, just to touch on that, where it was like you can't do too abstract stuff, because if you do, then it's like the subconscious knows that something's being screwed with. I really thought that was just a real big cop-out, a way to be like, everything's gonna look like it isn't just an office building, because we're shooting in an office building.
I liked that
I was like, I wanted to see more of the with the stuff folding up on itself. I was like, that's the stuff that I was really excited about. And you really only got that a little bit, and then he was like, oh yeah, don't do that. And I was like, well, but that's
But a lot of dream movies can go to superpowers, and I liked the restraint of not going there.
I definitely agree with that.
Go ahead, Dan.
I only really liked this movie, and I was really expecting
Because the other thing is, I don't want people to think I didn't like this movie. It's a very good movie. It just wasn't Matrix for me. It didn't change the world.
Well, I'm gonna comment on both things, both sides, because I only really liked the movie. I was not blown away, and I was expecting to be blown away However, I think it's a movie that you read more than you watch. And I suspect that this movie, like The Matrix, will be used in classrooms in high school, talking about psychology in college, and in film school talking about technique. And it's one of those rare cases where the medium, it's like reading a book about reading a book. And Rear Window is like that.
Really
because watching a movie is like you are in a dream, and there's a logic to how that happens. And I remember in film school learning about how films can play with time, and we watched Stand By Me in the train sequence, how like you see that the train should be there in real time, but in movie time they're playing with that to build suspense. And I think, the classic way to articulate suspense in a movie is the ticking clock. And this movie has a ticking clock within a ticking clock within a ticking clock.
Yeah.
However,
so awesome.
Which
that
is
was cool.
awesome.
That was really cool.
Hitchcock says a great thing about mystery and suspense and how they are complete polar opposites. And I think that some of the flaws I had with this movie were him trying to do both. Was him trying to have mystery and an intellectual roller coaster with a visceral, suspenseful ride. And sometimes those things competed in a way that I will agree. I think The Matrix is one of the few examples of a perfect marriage of where the emotional journey and the intellectual journey are one thing. And I think that because the emotional payoff in this movie is one that I generally connect with, as you guys know about me personally. And I felt a little, just
escaping.
being like Magnolia, being okay with reconciling with your past and things like that, and psychology. But it did not resonate with me as overwhelmingly powerful as I would have suspected. And you also brought up Ocean's 11, and one of the issues I had with the movie is that it wasn't more like Ocean's 11 in that in Ocean's 11 the characters are so well defined, and like rules in sci-fi you have like what each character is good at and what they're doing, and this movie touches upon that, but I think it only is as good as the pedigree of the actors, and they're all astounding. But I think because of that, if you swapped Tom Hardy, who's incredible in the movie, the badass actor with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, it would have made the Levitt character badass and the other character the smart guy.
Right.
Because that's how the characters were playing it, not because how they were written. You know what I mean?
Also, I would say that the heist itself, the stakes weren't very clear as far as it was only important because of what it got our main character Leonardo DiCaprio, rather than what the actual outcome.
And it had to be vague as to what it was even. I mean, by the nature of what it was, which was cool, it had to be vague as to what they were going to get. I mean, the whole time they're sort of like, well, we don't even know what's in there. We don't even. I mean, it's like. Did it?
But I love the thing that you
point.
kind of pointed out as being maybe a flaw for you, which is how it feels like you're reading a science fiction novel. I love that density, and I think it is the pure audacity of making a mainstream summer blockbuster movie that is this dense, that has so many ideas. The ideas are really the star of this movie.
Yeah.
And
like the totems, great idea.
I would just disagree that I don't think it is a summer blockbuster movie. I think a lot of people are comparing
marketed
it
that way.
But not. I mean, I think like a lot of people are comparing it to 2001, and I think that is the most appropriate comparison because 2001 and Star Wars had incredible special effects and really pushed the envelope forward in special effects.
Yeah.
But Star Wars is a fun ride, and 2001 is an intellectual roller coaster,
most definitely.
and it pushes ideas forward that we haven't even thought about yet at that time.
2001,
and also filmmaking-wise, really did some.
I would say it is. Even 2001 isn't as dense as this movie. I was hard pressed to come up with another science fiction film that this feels like a science fiction novel, and you don't ever find movies that are this. They're very complex structures that are communicated to the audience.
Yeah. I'm sure revisiting this movie, there will always be more things in there. We could be studied.
Filmmaker. What an absolutely astonishing filmmaker.
I will say about Christopher Nolan that after watching this movie, it dawned on me that Batman Begins, Dark Knight, they aren't set in Gotham. They are set in the Nolan-verse. And this movie, he has a way of making the movie set within its own world but it also feeling realistic.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel fantastical in any way, but it is completely its own
It's like
world.
generic. It feels like Canada. Actually, it does feel like Canada.
Okay, moving on. The Social Network trailer. We have had a few teasers over the few weeks, but we finally get a full-length trailer from David Fincher's next movie.
Another great filmmaker.
Adapted from Ben Mesrick novel he wrote, the book that 21 was based on. Adapted by Aaron Sorkin, who wrote the screenplay
Sorkin.
West Wing and Studio 60, right? And
Good Men.
Few Good Men. David Fincher, Seven, Fight Club, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, and it's based on the events that happened
At Harvard,
at the Harvard in
yeah.
2003, the start of Facebook.
Correct.
Alex,
Yes.
I assume the subject matter here is of great import and interest to you.
I mean, theoretically, here's the thing. Looks great. Looks like a great film. I just don't care at all for hearing this story. I mean, I feel like I know the story. You know, I know some of the people involved in the story. It's like, it just feels like, here's what it feels like. It feels like somebody went, there are a lot of people that use Facebook. I bet you a lot of them would see a movie about how Facebook got made.
I don't agree.
Yeah,
I think it came
I
first
think-
from, holy crap, this is the craziest story.
I don't know. I mean, it's not that crazy a story compared to other
Pretty crazy.
companies. that
I will
created.
bet you $500.
Okay.
This is one of those instances. You are going to frickin' love this movie.
You know what? We know how I am. Yeah.
I mean, I literally, like...
Game break.
I know, because what you're saying is
Because here's
exactly
the thing,
what people...
but that's
yeah.
also for me. That is how I am with a lot of trailers.
Yeah, I know.
what I mean?
You're saying what a lot of people said when the news broke about they're making a Facebook movie, and it's so silly. But clearly, well, you probably, it sounds like you, I mean, clearly, and first of all, this should not be your first time watching this trailer. You should definitely see it online. It's one of those trailers that are a work of art into itself. Wonderful music, the Radiohead Creep
The beginning
song.
is the best part of this whole trailer.
I think
The whole trailer is creep-y. There's a creep-y-ness to it.
And I think,
because there's,
and that's the
creep
thing is that
songs
what I
creepy.
think you're gonna get from the movie that you aren't expecting is it's not just the events that happen. I think it's just like I knew what happened to Ray Charles, and I know what happens on these other biopics. But I think the tone of the movie and the introspection that's
but
going to happen.
I wanted to know more about Ray. I want to know more about these characters. I don't care to know anything
I didn't care.
more
Well,
about
I will say I did not care about
You know
it.
what
I didn't
mean?
want to see. Every time I see a biopic trailer, I'm like, whatever. They're all the same. But boy, oh boy,
Yeah,
I think
kinda
there's going to be a
casual.
whole lot of introspection here.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be wonderfully shot. And I want to say about the trailer that everyone complained about Predators. In the trailer had the dots on the guy's thing, and it wasn't in the final movie. The last moment of this trailer, they use a clip of Jesse Eisenberg having this. Back and forth in a review session, and him saying, what do you want to know? And they go, what did you say? And he says, which part? And it's way better than what I just did.
Yes,
but
it was.
it
I don't
seems
even know what you were talking about.
I'm sure that it has a very literal meaning in the movie in that moment, but it's used in the trailer to comment on the story within the trailer itself as its own thing, and it's such wonderfully skillful editing and trailer making. And I think that is the
Jeff.
flip side of this Predator stuff. Anyway, Jeff.
You had me at Aaron Sorkin.
Game break.
Okay, this is a planet, and also
Jupiter.
the guy
Saturn.
who's the sea god.
C is
C.
Apollo? No,
Apollo. It's Apollo.
Apollo is the Poseidon. It's not Poseidon.
It's not Poseidon. It's another one.
Mars, Venus, Jupiter,
Pluto.
Keep going.
Venus,
Quickly.
Saturn,
Uranus.
Keep going.
Jupiter,
What is the other planet?
Saturn,
It sounds like when you're gonna go take some sleep in the middle of the day.
Nat.
Neptune!
Game
Reload. We're talking about DeathSpank this week. It is a game that we got all excited about at last year's PAX, which PAX is coming up again very soon. And it's from Ron Gilbert, the comedic mind behind Secret of Monkey Island, which we've talked about before on the show as well. And this is a very funny game. It's action role-playing game where you play DeathSpank, the very heroic DeathSpank, who saves the world, goes into town and has to find the artifact, which is important because it's the artifact.
Yep.
And does various quests. You get loot a la something like akin to Diablo, and you are doing your action weapons. You can switch between weapons at any given time, mapped to any of the buttons on the face of the controller, and you can swap those out at any time. So you're getting loot, you're leveling up, you're getting new abilities, and it's sort of a mix between Fable and Diablo, but with a really interesting art style that you're probably seeing behind me right now. This kind of pop-up book thing that I think is very striking. And I'm curious, Alex, if you had as much fun playing DeathSpank as I did.
The short answer is yes. The long answer is it got a little repetitive, and also the weapons didn't feel like I wanted them to feel. You know what I mean? Yeah, like a fiery axe was cool, but it kind of swung a little bit like the fiery sword, and kind of like this, and kind of like that, and the animations were sort of okay. But I mean, it has the stuff that I love. It's got me some leveling, love it. It's got me some looting, love it. So there's a lot of stuff to like here, and it's a hysterical game. I mean, beginning to end, great game. But I just sort of was like, it wasn't as, the combat didn't land as much as I had hoped that it would. And then also no co-op. I mean, there's sort of...
Well, there's local co-op.
Well, it's not even really co-op. It's sort of, I'm going to hop in and be this generic guy spinning around, but not...
in local terms, that's all you'd want, because you guys are, like, two roommates.
No, that's true.
You guys are just going to be it's Double Dragon or
it's
whatever.
Double Dragon, yeah. So I get that, so that's cool. But I was hoping that it would be, I ping you on Xbox, and I'm like, dude, I'm a level 6. Oh, you're a level 4. Dude, I've done this quest. Let's go. It'll be fun. Blah, blah, blah. No, you got to get the chickens. Be nice. I mean, it's not necessary, obviously. I mean, Torchwood, which was...
Torchlight.
Or Torchlight, yeah, Torchwood is the Doctor Who spinoff. But Torchlight, which I found after reviewing it and fell madly in love with, and I could see myself going back to this game and replaying it and going, for whatever reason it got me the second time around, and I don't know why, but it's a great game. It's well worth the download, man.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's a great game as well. The writing is hilarious. The acting is not.
I agree. I found the main voice of DeathSpank very grating. It would have been so much better if he was more subtle and sort of underplayed it. And everything's like this.
The writing is so hilarious that it was performed the way they performed those kinds of lines in a Joss Whedon show, or whatever.
Or Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Perhaps. Just that the everything being over the top went against the hilarious, sarcastic, and sometimes over the top, and sometimes undercutting, and all the dialogue would have been so much better. So I would just race through and read them myself than hearing the actors perform them. But I did love how brief it was. I think Nintendo could learn.
Yeah.
They have a big bubble that pops up with that dialogue, just the way Nintendo would, but A, it's funny, and it makes sense.
And it's one line.
And C,
it wasn't originally written in Japanese.
It's like
The can somehow in my pants. What?
Anyway, it's a really fun game to play. I was shocked at how Diablo-ish it is. I didn't realize it was that kind of game.
Yeah.
The graphics are spectacular. I will agree with you on the combat, Alex. I think the fun of a Diablo-like game is seeing those weapons do their thing.
Yeah.
And that wasn't...
There's some really fun weapon effects. I got the super fast crossbow, which I was using for a long time, and then I get like the lightning bolt gun.
Yeah, the lightning bolt,
the chicken gun.
But none of that is quite as cool as...
chicken gun never... when we heard about the chicken gun and we saw it displayed, I was like, I can't wait. I got the chicken gun, shot it once, and then put it away and never used it again. I was like, boy, that was so unsatisfying.
I will also say the controls, a lot of, they want you to do combos to make your, and I felt that it was not very precise. I would hit a button and the animation would go, then, so I couldn't really be comboing the way that the game wanted me to. I must say, on a personal note, I literally cannot play the game. I'm at 30% in, went into a overpowered dungeon, did not realize I was doing so, used all of my shit to get to the end boss, and I fought the boss over and over using all of my potions and things or whatever, and I cannot defeat him, and I am so deep in that I cannot work my way out.
You ticked yourself.
Either. I'm literally inside this dungeon. The outhouses...
They stay dead.
No, dude, I'm all the way in the dungeon. So no, they respawn because I spent all my time fighting the end guy.
Most of them would stay dead for me.
Some stay dead, but they add more. Yeah.
You don't understand, dude. I was fighting this end guy for about. I was fighting the end guy for like 20 minutes. And then I work myself out, and yeah, some of them that I've just killed are dead. But as I've gone further, because the outhouses are out of order, they're all now alive, and I can't. And I'm just dying. I'm dying. And there's nothing. And I can go back to the end boss. I can't do it. I can't.
I can't do it.
I mean, there's literally not one thing I can do. because I used all my crap. I mean, it's sort of my error, but at the same time,
I was talking to somebody about how I
unplayable.
think I use the word literally too much, so I'm gonna start saying figuratively. Like, I figuratively cannot do that. Figuratively, impossible. Interesting. So I love this game, but I do agree with you guys to a certain extent about the combat.
Yeah.
While it is very fun and very satisfying for the most part, my issue is that there's a block mechanic, and it was very difficult to figure out when the enemies were going to be attacking me to time my blocks correctly.
Yep.
And so it never felt like I could
block
effectively
and counter.
use that.
Yeah.
And it would have been nice if there had been more, I think, feedback, some sort of way to judge, and so I could really feel like I was.
Yeah, I barely used the block. I mean,
Yeah,
it
I ended up
being
using
like
it more and more, but you're right about the combos
I had to
as well.
use the block at the end to see if maybe that's my secret. But
Clearly you're not using it. I mean, you figuratively shat your pants on this one. So I think this is an easy game to recommend. I really love the writing. I really love the look of the game. It has a lot more role-playing trappings than I thought it was going to have.
Oh, me too.
But it also has a lot of adventure game trappings, and I think this is sort of the pedigree of Ron Gilbert in the sense that there are actual puzzles, and there are actual puzzles that aren't like puzzles people make anymore. They're like puzzles people used to make when adventure games, where you have to like combine items, and you have to really figure it out. You have to go, oh, that's.
I also like the thing where you can like find fortune cookies.
Yeah, they give you hints.
And then you can trade them in to get hints on whatever it is that you want hints on.
Yeah.
It's
very
really cool.
Very effective, and so it gives you the ability to get out of trouble spots when you encounter them, but it doesn't force feed that to you, so it's not like you can get a hint.
And it feels very much like, I don't want to run out of fortune cookies because if I use it on this and I kind of think I know what's going on, then maybe I'm in this thing where it's like, I don't even know what that means.
So, excellent game. I think, what is it, like $15, something like that?
Something like that.
800 Microsoft points, I believe. I don't know what that is.
No, more than 800. It's like 1,200. 1,600. Something like that.
I don't know.
Boy. Hopefully Mike just put up the correct answer so that we don't sound like idiots.
$16.95.
There was news this week that one of Ron Gilbert's compatriots that we like, whose name just flew out of my head, that did Brutal Legend, Tim Schafer. Tim Schafer announced that there will not be a Brutal Legend 2. That instead, his studio is going to do 4 sort of bite-sized games. Ooh. And I wanted to bring up the idea of comedy in video games, because Tim Schafer does it a lot. Brutal Legend was a game that had a comedic bent, as have all his games. Ron Gilbert has. And so I wanted to get your thoughts on comedy in games.
It's everything.
It's everything?
I mean,
Well, what are your favorite games of all time? Are they comedic? No, I would guess.
Well,
but just under them is
a lot of comedy.
Uncharted is what Psychonauts, Uncharted, Tim Schafer, and the Uncharted Naughty Dog people. The humor, and especially I just played through Uncharted 2 again. The humor does. It's so hard to connect with the story of a video game because you're playing a game. It's not its primary motive, though it is a part of it. It's not its primary motive. And humor does such a wonderful thing in immediate. I say this even about movies. I've talked about it recently in
somewhere.
Some dramatic
some sort of speech.
No, we're talking about dramatic movies or something. Like the fact that I think it was Get Him to the Greek, that I connected with the emotional story because I'm laughing with these people. And Best in Show, I was talking about one day.
Well, we reviewed that
the end
in
of
1997.
The end of Best in Show is one of the most powerful endings for me of a movie because it ends in a competition and there's going to be one winner in this group of contestants. And any other movie, you have the hero, the protagonist, and they're going to win or they're going to lose, and you're going to feel bad. Here, there's 8 people that you want to win, not because the movie's telling you to, because I've been laughing with them and at them for an entire movie span. I've connected them in a completely human relationship way, not a movie watcher movie character way. So in a video game, humor links me to a character in a medium where that's rare, in a way that is more powerful than any other way to connect a person to a character, I think, other than tears, which has yet to happen for me in a game. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. What about you?
I like funny funs. That's what I say about that. I love it. I think it's great. And
do you think it's more difficult to do it in video games than it is in other mediums? Because a lot of people talk about how with a video game you don't have control over timing, which, ask me what the most important thing about comedy is.
Timing.
Yeah, well, okay, or don't cooperate with my joke. That's fine too. You don't have any control over that as the designer of the game because the player has control over the timing of.
Well, but that's when
happening.
you get into the cutscenes is where you see a lot of that, and like a director in films, you get to play with those moments, which is where like Uncharted. Theoretically, it wasn't tons of funny on the way. I mean, there's sort of the quips that you get here and there, but I don't think it's any harder to get a joke across in a video game medium than any other medium. Because there might be different genres of humor that may be harder, but sight gags. I mean, Duke Nukem 3D from way back. Sight, you walk into a room and there's like, a thing of spam on the thing or whatever, and it's like that's fun. You get a chuckle. You know what I mean?
That's a sight gag.
Funny. But I mean, seriously, like you walk by posters and it's like a guy taking a poop on a thing. You know what I mean?
Well, there's definitely a seriousness in video games that is sort of prevalent over other mediums that. In order for it to be a AAA, because you don't see a lot of AAA games that are. I mean, you said Get 'Em to the Greek. That's a big budget movie coming out that a lot of people want to go see, and it's a comedy. You don't have among the sort of top tier of video games.
Not the percentage of comedy.
Uncharted
games.
is the only one that's coming to mind.
But see, even that is a serious game that is also funny. But what he's saying is like. It's like Hangover. There's not a serious movie.
There's a lot of crappy comedy games. There's a lot of like I don't love the Serious Sam or like things that are like
there's not a lot of sophisticated humor.
Yeah.
Which I think I don't even know if you would say DeathSpank is sophisticated humor, but at least it's a level of competency in delivering the humor that you rarely find with video games.
I want to disagree with one thing you said is that what I really enjoyed about Uncharted and what I wish would happen more. And you're talking about timing, is that the comedy and cutscenes is one thing that's great and love it, but that's what is great about Uncharted and Psychonauts and even the first Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, where they were able to have these character building moments while I'm playing that make some of the chore-y parts of video games more fun and enticing. I love feeling like I'm not all alone playing this game, and sometimes the worlds are very desolate, and it's like having the companion that is constantly having story moments with or comedy with really makes the game way more. I mean, it does leaps and bounds for the quality of the experience for me playing a game. Yeah.
I'd love to have you could do a shooter that's like a buddy cop movie. You know, and it's a really like an Eddie Murphy comedy, but
another 48 hours.
It's what the Ghostbusters game was kind of like.
Yeah,
we should have brought that up.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Good, good
reference.
Good reference.
Game break.
Where you go to bed at night?
Bedroom.
Bedroom? What's up?
You said bed.
I said, where do you go to bed at night?
Is it bedroom?
Yeah.
Invalid.
Next one.
Game break.
Game.
All right, before we get to our email, we do want to thank our sponsors. As you guys know, Squarespace has been one of our longest running sponsors on this show. And
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, real quick.
They're awesome.
A most amazing place to set up your website. If you need a website for whatever reason, you got to go to Squarespace. You can update on the go with the iPhone app, which is awesome. You can import all your contents or content from your current blog or website onto their site. Great stuff. But we do want to say huge congratulations to the guys at Squarespace. July 14th, they secured their first round of funding. Now I say this because they have started, when Anthony started the site, I think in like 2003 or whenever it was, back in the day, he started it. Yeah, when Facebook. Well, he was, and it's the same thing. He was in college, and he got literally had like a loan from his dad and started this site. And talking to Anthony, it's really awesome. He said every dollar that came in just went right back out to get people excited to help build the site up and all that stuff. But they've now secured this huge chunk of funding so they can expand even faster. And believe you me, I have gone to the Squarespace headquarters and I've seen some of the stuff that they're like, we're so excited to do this. And it's like, dude, that is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And they're like, if we just could get it out, we just don't have enough people to do it. It's the most amazing thing. Now, the next year, as far as Squarespace goes, is going to be crazy.
Get on that.
So get on the bandwagon now. Head over to squarespace.com, sign up for a site, and then if you use the coupon code TRS when you convert it to a full site after your 14-day free trial, make sure to use TRS when you check out. You get 10% off the lifetime of your site. And congratulations, guys. Netflix?
And Netflix sponsoring this week on TRS. Netflix is, of course, a subscription-based online movie and television show rental service where you can watch, you can get a DVD or Blu-ray in the mail, or you can watch something instantly on your PC, your PS3, your iPad, your iPod, your Xbox, your anything that has internet connected to it, pretty much. And I highly recommend. One thing we didn't talk about was the announcement of the actor playing Spider-Man, who we saw in the Facebook trailer.
Yeah, Jim Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield, who is in one of the greatest movies of the decade or the past 5 years or 10, 20 years. It's called Boy A. I'm sure many of you have not seen it. This is not a casual recommendation. It is a home run, must see the movie Boy A.
Casual recommendation. I'm in your face. I'm punishing you with this recommendation.
This is official. I am in a suit and tie.
You can rent that from Netflix. I did. And head over to www.netflix.com/TRS to get a 2-week free trial.
Amazing.
Even beyond that, it's $8.99 to get your movies instantly and in the mail.
Amazing.
And you get them in 1 business day.
Amazing.
And that literally happens to me all the time, and figuratively.
GoDaddy.com. Domains, cheap and easy. Hosting, reliable. 99% uptime.
This is not casual, yo.
No
This
casual.
is not casual.
No.
24/7
This is the RV man.
support. You want mobile management? iPhone app, Android app, in your face. This is GoDaddy.com. You want a discount because you watch our show?
Smart.
Vision3.com/GoDaddy. There's all kinds of promo codes. You want a promo code specific to our show? TRS8, 10% off your order.
It's an audition for the GoDaddy
amazing.
spokesperson.
Also, good friend of the show's, Brian Brushwood, has an amazing show on Revision 3
We
Scam
love
School.
it.
If you are even remotely interested in duping people in a bar, which I believe everybody should be, you gotta check out Scam School.
Or if you want to eat fire like we did.
Or if you want to eat fire like we did. I love you teachers.
Do not try that at home.
does do that.
Brian Brushwood does not associate himself with eating fire. Anyway, amazing. Love you, Brian.
What was the URL I cut you off?
Didn't I say it? I thought I said it.
You cut it off.
Revision3.com/scamschool or
Yes.
scamschool.com, right? I think. Yeah. Okay, cool. Hey, let's get to the email. Hey guys, love the show. As a teenager with 2 working parents, I remember having to make lunches at home for myself very often, as I'm sure we did. I got accustomed to eating the same frozen. What the
Chimichangas.
Chimichangas.
Amazing.
Come on, you live in California.
Frozen chimichangas from Costco. I don't know if that sounds great. Chimichangas? Chimichichangas. I got the same frozen chimichichangas from Costco for lunch almost every day. And I love myself some chimichanga. That or a pepperoni Hot Pocket. Of course. Clearly these weren't the healthiest of options, but I grew to love them because they were both quick and easy. So what are some of your go-to lazy foods when you're just hanging around the house or watching TV? Or what is your go-to dish to cook yourself that you find is quick and easy? Keep up the good work, Matt. Good question, Matt.
Yeah, realize
a lot
2
of good
things.
stuff.
2 things by this question. A,
Lazy quick food.
lazy quick food. B, we need to really put some nonsense words in the prompter for Alex to just be like.
Absolutely.
Now that you see the
Just because
Flickle-flazzle.
no proofreading necessary.
None.
Alex is like, oh Jesus.
I'm like, I'll go up.
What is that?
Out of the pants, chimichangas. It's gonna be like 6 chinchillas in Chimichango Town.
Was it just startling to see that? The word does look very scary when you see it up there. Or do you actually not? I've never used the word chimichanga.
Oh no! What it was
a scary word.
Not only that, it was a really long word with a lot of chs.
Yeah.
And then I went,
All right.
I didn't read this. That was what got me tripped up. I was like, I now didn't read this. And then it was like, anything. You of the T it. Okay. So lazy go-to food, watching TV.
Well, when I was a kid, I don't know if, there were so many things I used to do as a kid. First of all, Snack Master.
That's some sort of.
You guys never had a
exercise
Snack
machine?
Master?
Is it a snackable? Like a Lunchable?
It was a thing that closed and it had heat on the top and the bottom.
I have
It was
one.
a predecessor to the George Foreman grill.
No, I have one.
But it had
Yeah, it makes
like
sandwiches.
dipped indentations.
Yeah, it makes
so
like grilled cheese sandwiches.
Well, it makes the thing
Anything.
that's amazing about the Snack Master is you can put anything into it and it makes it taste good. You put a piece of bread, anything, another piece of bread, close it in like a minute and a half. It
get a
tastes
snack.
delicious, like an
Amazing.
old shoe. Boom,
I gotta,
Snack
I gotta
Master.
pull it out. I have one in the like.
Yeah, like your homework. Boom, Snack Master.
You're gonna be
Smack,
Snack
smack,
Master.
smack.
You're going for spokes.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't even
yeah.
think it
Here.
exists anymore. But I used
does,
to
I
love
bought one.
It's not called Snack Master, but I have a sandwich maker that it's like panini. It's like pressed.
Yeah,
No,
but with
I'll show
rivets?
you. I'll show you what it is. That's not. It's not a panini press.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll show you what it is. So Snack
You
Master.
insult the Snack Master.
So what else?
You're like a snack apprentice.
What else you got? That
For,
would've been a good
for
tweet.
snack time when I was a kid, there was granola bars called Dips.
Tips.
Never
I
heard?
remember
Never heard of
kudos,
them?
but I don't know about dips.
Well, kudos are still around. Don't ask Dan about his kudos. Where did,
Yeah.
what did you put them? The dips were a granola bar
My kudos.
dipped in chocolate, so completely covered in chocolate. So
That was a
basically
kudos.
a candy bar, but you could convince mom to buy it because it was healthy. And she would freeze them because we would get them at Costco in bulk.
Frozen dips.
Frozen dips.
Amazing.
Yeah, good stuff.
Free dips. What about you?
My mom is
Teeth?
going to love my answer to this because
mom.
growing up, she made for me a thing that I still make myself to this day called farmer cheese on bread. It was always, yeah, Mom, can I have some farmer cheese on bread? Farmer cheese on bread, farmer cheese on bread. Have you ever even heard of farmer cheese? It was a specific kind of cheese that she would get.
I was
at
like,
a-
isn't every cheese theoretically
no,
farmer
it's,
cheese?
It's actually, it's a kind of cheese. It's somewhere in between.
I got Subway worker cheese, dude. It's not good.
horrible.
It's somewhere in between ricotta and cottage cheese that you would then
You might
just
like
put
it.
on a bread and toast it. It's a more mild
I
cheese,
like it
but
'cause it's cheese.
It's a great snack.
Yeah.
Now I can't get farmer cheese out here.
just try the farmer's
but so I just get cottage cheese and I still call it. I'm like just
that on bread? That's
yeah,
it?
that's it.
That's
but
the-
I just
entire
love it.
snack, the
For some
sum
reason,
total of the
I love
snack.
it. Well, look, you got your carb, you got your dairy, you got your protein.
You got your, that's it.
yeah.
You got your, that's it. Amazing.
So-
For me, growing up, definitely Stouffer's French bread pizzas. That was like my go-to lunch. Like I would literally take a frozen pizza at school.
So
and I would
snack
put it
or
in the
lunch? I
thing.
think you're bending the rules a little bit.
Who he said go-to?
He said meal. He did say meal.
Lazy meal. So anyway, that Steakums was another really good lazy
Oh
one.
God, I just threw up a little on my mouth.
Oh, I love Steakums, man.
What is that?
Steakums.
It's just
It's like-
it's cheesesteak, steak, but
basically
frozen
cheesesteak
steak.
frozen steak.
Really thin steak. Yeah.
Basically pressed
Doesn't sound
steakish
good
meat.
at all.
But yeah, but then for the like crazy, I remember I was not allowed to have sugar as a kid. It was like, well, sugar's not so great for you, so we're not
That
gonna
was
have
a
sugar.
smart move.
Except, though I was not allowed, my friend was allowed to have sugar.
Yes, he was.
So every time I would go over after school to his house, we would have pinwheels and Pepsi.
Pinwheel,
Those are the two
pinwheel,
things. And those
pinwheel
pinwheels, because pinwheel is, it's like a little crispy like graham cracker cookie, marshmallow, dipped in chocolate.
Oh.
Amazing.
Do you guys
didn't like
remember-
go running around with pinwheels and
No,
Pepsis.
I was thinking.
the wind!
Stick.
What? It's good. It wasn't.
Do you guys remember those hot dogs that were like had chili injected
Yes,
in them?
and cheese.
And
the cheese is amazing, dude. The
And do you remember
American
the
cheese.
peanut butter and jelly
I know we all
spread?
ate. You must have Totino's pizza rolls.
We didn't do those.
Those
actually.
pizza rolls?
No,
Oh,
I remember the
they're
commercials
never
for that.
good. The commercials
Yeah, that's
always
why I
make them
didn't
look
have them.
amazing,
Like
and you
small
always are
pizzas.
craving them, like when you're
Amazing.
playing video games a long
All
time.
right, well, thank you so much, Matt. If you would like to have your email read on the show, please feel free to send it to fans@totallyradshow.com.
That's also where you would send a background like our buddy Danny Head did. This background is awesome. We're getting a lot of really cool ones. Please download this background by going to our website, totallyradshow.com. You can download this or any of the backgrounds we have ever used. You can also get our logos to help you make a very cool background to send in to us.
Bingo bango.
And the intro lyrics, right?
Intro lyrics.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say
Yeah,
that.
I mean, look,
information about that.
if you want to submit lyrics that we use in our intros at the top of our show, which we love doing and love getting, email fans@totallyradshow.com. But to see the rules, because there's very strict guidelines when you're writing poetic prose, head on over to.
That's an oxymoron, but go ahead.
Head on over to our forums at totallyradshow.com and click on forums, and you'll see a heading there for the rules of engagement.
And we will see you at Comic-Con.
Woohoo!
Whoa.
All right.
Look how much oil.
That's disgusting.
Here we go.
Wait,
What's that?
nothing. Netflix.com/TRS to get a free trial membership.
That's the third game break, and
I
it's
know,
brilliant.
it's brilliant.
We're done.
Okay.
Yeah. Epic. Game braked.
In your face.